My name is Arthur Bennett, and I am 74 years old. I am a retired construction foreman, a widower of 8 years and a father of 2. My wife Alina passed away from a stroke when our children were grown and out of the house. She was the love of my life, the mother of my children, and the only person who ever truly understood me. I spent my entire adult life building things, houses, bridges, roads, and a family. I thought I had built something that would last. I thought I had raised my children right. I thought they would always be there for me, the way I had always been there for them. But life has a way of showing you the truth when you least expect it. And sometimes, the truth is more painful than you could ever imagine. It all started on a cold January morning. I had been feeling unwell for a few days. Nothing serious, I told myself, just old age, just the usual aches and pains that come with being 74. I had been having some chest pain, some shortness of breath, but I didn't want to make a fuss. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to worry my children. But my daughter Rebecca noticed something was wrong. She came over to visit, took one look at me and called an ambulance. I tried to argue, I tried to tell her I was fine, but she wouldn't listen, she never listened. She was always worried about me, always fussing over me, always trying to take care of me. I loved her for it, I really did, but sometimes I just wanted to be left alone. The ambulance came. The paramedics loaded me onto a stretcher. I could see the concern in Rebecca's eyes as they wheeled me out of my house. She promised she would follow behind in her car. She promised she would be there with me. She promised everything would be okay. But everything was not okay, not even close. The hospital ran a battery of tests. They did blood work, x-rays, an EKG and echocardiogram. The results came back. I had suffered a mild heart attack. I needed to stay in the hospital for observation. I needed to rest. I needed to take it easy. I needed to stop being so stubborn. I was in the hospital for 5 days. 5 days of beeping monitors, fluorescent lights and terrible hospital food. 5 days of Rebecca sitting by my bedside, holding my hand, telling me everything would be okay. 5 days of my son, Derek, visiting for an hour and then leaving because he was too busy. Derek had always been the difficult one. He was the firstborn, the one who looked like me, the one who had my stubbornness and my temper. But he also had a greedy streak that I never understood. He always wanted more, more money, more things, more status. He was never satisfied with what he had. He always wanted what other people had. He always wanted what I had. When Alina died, Derek became worse. He started asking about the will, about the house, about the money. He wanted to know how much he was getting. He wanted to know when he was getting it. He wanted to know if he could get it sooner. I told him the will was fair. I told him he would get his share when the time came. I told him to stop worrying about money and start worrying about what really mattered. He didn't listen. So there I was, lying in a hospital bed, trying to recover from a heart attack, trying to rest, trying to heal. And while I was lying there, my own son was plotting against me. He was scheming. He was planning. He was waiting for his chance to take what he thought was rightfully his. I didn't know it at the time. I had no idea what was happening outside those hospital walls. I was too focused on getting better, on going home, on getting back to my life. I didn't know that Derek had already started making calls. I didn't know that he had already started making plans. I didn't know that he had already started selling my house out from under me. It was the day I was supposed to be discharged. I was feeling better. I was feeling hopeful. I was looking forward to going home, to sleeping in my own bed, to drinking my own coffee, to sitting in my own chair. Rebecca came to pick me up. She was smiling, but I could see the worry in her eyes. She had been worried about me for years. She had been taking care of me since Alina died. She was the only one who really cared about me. She was the only one who actually loved me. "Dad," she said, "I have something to tell you." "What is it?" I asked, my heart suddenly pounding. "It's Derek," she said. He's been busy while you were in the hospital." "Busy doing what?" She hesitated, she took a deep breath. "He sold your house, Dad. He sold it while you were in the hospital." I stared at her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I must have misheard her. I must have misunderstood. "What do you mean he sold my house? He can't sell my house. It's not his house. It's my house." "I know," she said, "but he found a way. He forged your signature on the paperwork. He pretended to be you. He even hired a fake notary. He made it look like you had authorized the sale." I felt the world spin around me. I felt dizzy. I felt like I was going to be sick, my own son, my own flesh and blood. He had sold my house while I was lying in a hospital bed recovering from a heart attack. He had forged my signature. He had pretended to be me. He had stolen my house. How is that possible? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. How could he do something like that? How could he get away with it? I don't know, Rebecca said. He's always been cunning, he's always been manipulative. I guess he finally found a way to use those skills for something terrible. He convinced some developer that the house was his, that you had given it to him, that you were too sick to handle the sale yourself. They believed him. They bought it. The sale went through 2 days ago. I felt a tear roll down my cheek. I had lived in that house for 40 years. I had raised my children in that house. I had buried my wife from that house. I had built that house with my own hands. It wasn't just a house. It was my home. It was my life. It was everything. And Derek had taken it all away. I couldn't speak, I couldn't move, I just sat there staring at the wall, trying to process what I had just been told. My own son had stolen my house. My own son had betrayed me. My own son had destroyed everything. Dad, Rebecca said, I'm so sorry, I should have stopped him, I should have done something. But I didn't know until it was too late. By the time I found out, the paperwork was already signed. The money had already changed hands, there was nothing I could do. Where is he now? I asked, my voice cold and hard. I don't know, Rebecca said. He left town, he took the money and left, he didn't even wait to see how you were doing, he just left. I felt a rage build inside me, a rage like I had never felt before, a rage that burned hot and bright and consumed everything in its path. I had spent my whole life taking care of other people. I had sacrificed everything for my children. I had given them everything I had. And this was how my son repaid me. He stole my house, he broke my heart, he destroyed my life. And he didn't even care. I left the hospital that day with a broken heart and a burning rage. I didn't go home, I couldn't go home, there was no home to go to. My house was gone. My home was gone. Everything I had worked for was gone. I went to Rebecca's house instead. She had offered to take me in. She had offered to let me stay with her until I could figure things out. She was always there for me. She was always the one I could count on. She was the only one who actually loved me. Dad, she said, we'll get through this, I promise. We'll find a way to get your house back. We'll find a way to make this right. How? I asked. He sold it, the paperwork is signed, the money has changed hands. How can we possibly get it back? I don't know, she said, but I'm going to find out. I'm not going to let him get away with this. I'm going to make sure he pays for what he did. I looked at my daughter. I could see the determination in her eyes, I could see the love in her heart. She was willing to fight for me. She was willing to stand up for me. She was willing to do whatever it took to make things right. And I realized that I had to do the same. I couldn't let Derek win. I couldn't let him take everything from me. I had to fight back. I had to stand up for myself. I had to protect what was mine. The next day I called my lawyer. Her name was Patricia Henderson, and she had been handling my legal affairs for years. She was sharp, tough, and fiercely loyal to her clients. She had helped me through Alina's death, through the probate process, through everything. She was the only person I trusted completely. Arthur, she said, I heard what happened, I'm so sorry. I can't believe Derek would do something like this. Neither can I said, but he did, and now I need your help, I need to get my house back. I'll do everything I can, she said. But Arthur, this is going to be complicated. The sale has already gone through. The paperwork has been filed. The money has changed hands. We're going to have to prove that the sale was fraudulent. We're going to have to prove that Derek forged your signature. We're going to have to prove that he had no legal right to sell your house. Can we do that? I asked. We can try, she said, but it's going to take time, and it's going to take money, and there's no guarantee that we'll win. I don't care, I said. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll spend every penny I have. I'll fight this until my dying breath. I'm not going to let my son get away with this. Patricia was silent for a moment, then she spoke. Arthur, there's something else you should know, something that might change things. What is it? I asked. The developer who bought the house, she said. They're planning to tear it down and build a new development. They already have the permits. They already have the contractors lined up. They're planning to start demolition next week. I felt my heart stop. They were going to tear down my house. They were going to destroy everything I had built. They were going to erase my history, my memories, my life. We have to stop them, I said. We have to do something. We can file an injunction, Patricia said. We can try to stop the demolition, but we have to act fast. We have to file the paperwork today. Then do it, I said. Do whatever it takes. Stop them from tearing down my house. Patricia filed the injunction. She filed a lawsuit against Derek and the developer. She argued that the sale was fraudulent, that Derek had no legal right to sell the house, that I was the rightful owner. The case went to court. It was a long, drawn-out process. There were hearings, motions, depositions. There were arguments, accusations, counter-accusations. It was exhausting, it was expensive, it was emotionally draining. But I didn't give up, I couldn't give up, I had too much at stake. Derek testified. He tried to argue that I had given him the house as a gift, that I had signed the paperwork willingly, that I had been in full control of my faculties when I made the decision. He produced fake documents. He produced fake witnesses. He produced fake evidence. He was a master manipulator, and he was using every trick in the book to cover up his crime. But Patricia was ready. She had done her own investigation. She had gathered her own evidence. She had found the notary that Derek had hired, and she had gotten him to admit that he had forged my signature. She had found the real estate agent that Derek had worked with, and she had gotten her to admit that she had seen the paperwork and had thought something was off. She had found the title company that had handled the sale, and she had gotten them to admit that they had missed the warning signs. It was a long, hard fight, but we won. The judge ruled in my favor. He declared the sale null and void. He ordered the developer to return the deed to me. He ordered Derek to pay me restitution for the damage he had caused, and he ordered Derek to pay the legal fees for the case. I had won, I had gotten my house back, but the victory felt hollow. I had beaten Derek in court, but I had lost him as a son. He had betrayed me. He had stolen from me. He had tried to destroy me, and no amount of legal victory could ever undo that. The developer was furious. They had already started planning the demolition. They had already hired the contractors. They had already spent millions of dollars, and now they had to walk away. They had to return the deed. They had to eat the losses. It was a huge financial blow to them, but I didn't care. They had tried to tear down my house. They had tried to erase my history. They had tried to destroy my life. They deserved to lose. A few weeks later, I went back to my house. It was the first time I had seen it since I was discharged from the hospital. I walked through the front door and I felt a flood of emotions wash over me. I was happy to be back. I was sad about everything that had happened. I was angry at my son. I was grateful to my daughter, and I was determined to rebuild my life. The house was a mess. Derek and the developer had trashed the place. They had taken all my furniture. They had taken all my belongings. They had stripped the house of everything that made it a home. But I didn't care, it was still my house. It was still my home, and I was going to rebuild it. Rebecca helped me. She helped me clean the house. She helped me buy new furniture. She helped me redecorate. She helped me rebuild. It took months, it took a lot of hard work. But eventually the house started to feel like a home again. It started to feel like mine. And I started to heal. A few weeks later, I got a letter from Derek. It was postmarked from a different state. He had moved away. He was trying to start a new life. He was trying to escape his past. He was trying to forget what he had done. I opened the letter with trembling hands. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if he was apologizing or making excuses or trying to blame me. "Dear Dad," he wrote, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything I did. I don't know what came over me. I don't know why I did it. I was just so desperate. I was so scared. I was so lost. I thought the money would make everything better. I thought the house would make everything better. I thought if I just had more I would be happy, but I was wrong. I was so wrong." I felt a tear roll down my cheek. He was sorry. He was actually sorry. He was finally admitting that he had made a mistake. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness," he continued. "I know I don't deserve a second chance, but I'm asking for one anyway. I want to make things right. I want to be the son you deserve. I want to be part of your life again." I put down the letter. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to feel. I was angry, sad, hurt, confused. I had spent so long hatting him that I didn't know how to stop. But I also missed him. I missed the son I used to have. I missed the boy who used to run into my arms. I missed the man I thought he would become. I missed everything we used to have. I called Rebecca. I told her about the letter. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I don't know," I said. "Part of me wants to forgive him. Part of me wants to try, but part of me can't forget what he did. Part of me can't trust him again." "Dad," she said, "you don't have to decide right now. You don't have to forgive him today. You can take all the time you need. You can decide when you're ready." I nodded. She was right. I didn't have to decide right now. I could take all the time I needed. Months passed. The house was fully restored. It looked better than ever. It felt like a home again. It felt like mine. And then one day I got a visit from Derek. He showed up at my door unannounced. He looked terrible. He had lost weight. He had dark circles under his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept in months. "Dad," he said, "I know I don't deserve to be here. I know I don't deserve to ask you for anything. But I had to come. I had to see you. I had to apologize in person." I looked at my son. I saw the little boy I had raised. I saw the teenager I had loved. I saw the man he had become, lost and confused, but trying to find his way back. "Come in," I said. He walked into the house. He looked around. He saw all the new furniture, the new paint, the new decorations. He saw how much work I had put into restoring the house. He saw how much I had rebuilt. "Dad," he said, "I'm so sorry. I don't know what else to say. I was so stupid. I was so greedy. I was so blind. I thought the money would make me happy. I thought the house would make me happy. But all it did was destroy everything I had." "I know," I said, "I know." "Can you forgive me?" he asked. "Can you ever forgive me?" I looked at my son. I saw the pain in his eyes. I saw the regret in his heart. I saw the man he had become, broken and humbled but trying to be better. "Son," I said, "I will always love you. I will always forgive you. You're my son. Nothing will ever change that. But trust is something that has to be earned. It has to be built, and it takes time." "I understand," he said. "I'll wait. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll prove to you that I've changed. I'll prove to you that I'm worth trusting again." We talked for hours that day. We talked about his childhood. We talked about his mother. We talked about his mistakes. We talked about his future. It wasn't easy. There were tears, there were apologies, there were promises, but it was a start. It has been 2 years since that day. 2 years since I got my house back. 2 years since Derek apologized. 2 years since we started rebuilding our relationship. Things are different now. Derek has changed. He's not the same greedy, selfish man he used to be. He's more humble. He's more grateful. He's more loving. He's more like the son I used to know. And I have changed too. I'm not the same old man I used to be. I'm stronger. I'm wiser. I'm more careful. I still love my son. I will always love my son. But I have learned to protect myself too. We still have our moments. We still argue sometimes. We still disagree. But we also laugh. We also cry. We also forgive. I have my house back. I have my son back. I have my life back. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of pain. It took a lot of time, but I got there. And I know that everything will be okay. I am Arthur Bennett. I am 76 years old. I am a retired construction foreman, a widower and a father. I lost my house. I lost my son. I lost everything. But I fought back. I rebuilt my life. I rebuilt my home. And I rebuilt my relationship with my son. It wasn't easy. It was the hardest thing I have ever done, but it was worth it because I love my son, and nothing will ever change that. If you're watching this, please subscribe and share. And remember, sometimes the people who hurt us the most are the ones who need us the most. Sometimes forgiveness is the hardest thing to give, but it's also the most powerful. I am Arthur Bennett. I am a survivor, and I will never let anyone take away what is mine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a house to take care of and a son to love.